behind locked doors, beneath ancient symbols, and whispered in the corridors of power, there are secrets said to shape the destiny of nations. Are the Freemasons and the Illuminati just harmless fraternities? Or are they the hidden hands guiding history itself? Tonight, we open the vault on one of the greatest mysteries in human history, the hidden secrets of the Freemasons and the Illuminati. You're watching HEH TV, where we uncover the mysteries, legends, and untold truths that others are afraid to touch. If you want to explore the unknown and dig deeper into the secrets behind our world, make sure you subscribe and stay with us until the end. The story of the Freemasons begins not in grand halls of power, but in the stone quarries and cathedrals of medieval Europe. In the 12th and 13th centuries, master stonemasons were highly skilled craftsmen responsible for building Europe's great cathedrals: Notre Dame in Paris, Canterbury in England, Cologne in Germany. These builders worked with precision and guarded their knowledge carefully. Geometry, engineering, and architecture were seen not only as technical skills, but as sacred sciences. To protect their secrets, stonemasons formed guilds, exclusive brotherhoods that passed down knowledge only to trusted apprentices. These guilds were the seed of what later became Freemasonry. Over time, as cathedral building declined, the guilds opened their doors to speculative masons, men who were not builders, but thinkers, scholars, and nobles, fascinated by the symbolism and secrecy of the craft. By the 1600s and 1700s, Freemasonry had transformed into a philosophical and fraternal society. Instead of teaching stone cutting, it taught moral lessons, self-improvement, and brotherhood through allegory and ritual. The tools of the Mason compass, square, level, became symbols for ethical principles. One of the earliest recorded lodges was in Scotland in the late 1500s, with records of gentlemen joining alongside working masons. By 1717, the first Grand Lodge was officially formed in London, marking the birth of organized Freemasonry as we know it today. What made Freemasonry so powerful was its blend of exclusivity, secrecy, and symbolism. Meetings were private. Members swore oaths. Knowledge was passed in degrees, from entered apprentice to master mason. Outsiders could only speculate on what happened inside the lodge. This secrecy fueled suspicion. Were they just a fraternity of men pursuing enlightenment and fellowship, or were they plotting revolutions and manipulating governments behind closed doors? The 18th century was an age of revolution in science, politics, and philosophy. Freemasons became associated with Enlightenment ideals: reason, liberty, equality. Many influential men of the time were members: scientists, philosophers, and even kings. In Britain, America, and France, lodges became spaces where men of different classes could meet as equals, bound by secret oaths rather than titles. This was revolutionary in itself. Some historians argue that Masonic lodges played a role in spreading ideas that helped fuel the American and French revolutions. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and many other founding fathers of the United States were Freemasons. The influence of Masonic symbols like the all-seeing eye, the unfinished pyramid, and the number 13 can be seen on the U.S. dollar bill, which has only fueled speculation ever since. To supporters, the Masons were guardians of liberty and progress. To critics, they were secret manipulators engineering world-changing revolutions from the shadows. By the late 1700s, Freemasonry had spread across Europe and into the New World. Lodges appeared in every major city, attracting influential men in politics, military, and science. Their secrecy, their elaborate rituals, and their growing influence made them a prime target for suspicion. The Catholic Church condemned them. Monarchs tried to suppress them. Rumors swirled that behind the symbols and handshakes, Freemasons were working to undermine traditional religion and overthrow governments. It is in this climate of suspicion and secrecy that the Illuminati would be born, soon to be linked forever with the Masons in legend and conspiracy. Why these symbols fueled centuries of conspiracy theories. Transition toward the rise of the Illuminati in 1776. Freemasonry is a world built on symbols. To outsiders, these might look like strange drawings or cryptic designs. But within Masonic tradition, every tool carries meaning. The square represents morality, reminding members to square their actions. The compass stands for self-control, the ability to keep passions within limits. The level symbolizes equality, while the plumb line represents upright conduct. Perhaps the most famous of all is the all-seeing eye. To Masons, it is the eye of Providence God watching over humanity. To conspiracy theorists, it is proof of surveillance and control by a shadowy elite. The very same symbol sits on the reverse of the U.S. $1 bill, fueling endless speculation that the United States was founded not just by men of reason, but by an esoteric brotherhood pulling strings from the very beginning. Inside a Masonic lodge, members progress through a series of degrees. The most common are entered apprentice, fellowcraft, and master mason. Each degree includes ceremonies that blend moral lessons with dramatic ritual. Candidates take oaths of secrecy and loyalty. They are given symbolic tools and taught allegorical stories, often drawn from biblical or historical sources. To Masons, these rituals are lessons in morality and personal growth. To outsiders, the secrecy has always been troubling. What happens behind closed doors? Why the need for oaths and hidden handshakes? Why the obsession with secrecy if there is nothing to hide? It is this secrecy that fueled centuries of suspicion. Anti-Masonic movements claimed that the rituals were occult, even satanic. Some accused the Masons of practicing pagan rites, others of plotting to overthrow the church and crown. In the 1820s, the Morgan affair in the United States, where a man who threatened to expose Masonic secrets disappeared under mysterious circumstances, sparked a nationwide backlash. The anti-Masonic Party even became one of America's first third political parties. The secrecy of Masonry also made it attractive to powerful men. Kings, generals, presidents, and intellectuals joined lodges. Membership meant access to a network of influence that spanned across borders. A Mason in London could find fraternity with a Mason in Paris or New York. This global network made Masons appear less like a club and more like a hidden government without borders. In America, many founding fathers were active Freemasons. George Washington laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol wearing Masonic regalia. Benjamin Franklin was a Grand Master in Pennsylvania. To believers in conspiracy, this is no coincidence the birth of America itself is seen as a Masonic project, with symbols and ideals deliberately embedded into its foundations. Here lies the paradox of Freemasonry. To members, it is a fraternity promoting brotherhood, charity, and personal growth. To critics, it is a secret cabal exerting influence on world events. The truth may be far less dramatic, but secrecy invites suspicion. Every locked door, every whispered ritual, every symbol half understood by outsiders creates fertile ground for conspiracy. It is in this atmosphere of secrecy, suspicion, and revolutionary ideals that another society emerged in 1776 that would forever be tied to the Freemasons in the minds of conspiracy theorists, the Bavarian Illuminati. On May 1st, 1776, in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, a professor named Adam Weishaupt founded a new secret society. His vision was radical: to free people from superstition, religious domination, and tyranny. He called his order the Illuminati, the Enlightened Ones. At first, it was small, just a handful of intellectuals. But the Illuminati quickly spread, recruiting members in universities and within Masonic lodges. The overlap between the two groups blurred their identities in the public imagination. Were the Illuminati simply another branch of the Masons, or something far more dangerous? By the late 1700s, rumors swirled that the Illuminati had infiltrated governments, sparked revolutions, and sought to build a new world order. Even though the Bavarian government banned the society within a decade, its legend never died. Instead, it merged with the suspicion already surrounding Freemasonry, creating one of the most powerful conspiracy narratives in history. In 1776, the same year America declared independence, a very different kind of revolution was quietly taking shape in Bavaria. Professor Adam Weishaupt, a law scholar at the University of Ingolstadt, grew increasingly frustrated with the dominance of the Catholic Church and the conservative monarchy over intellectual life. He believed that reason, science, and enlightenment should guide humanity, not superstition and authoritarianism. On May 1st, he founded a society of like-minded thinkers and named it the Order of the Illuminati. Its mission: to challenge blind obedience, promote rational thought, and free humanity from oppressive institutions. At first, it was just 5 men meeting in secret. But small sparks often ignite great fires. Weishaupt envisioned the Illuminati as a society that would quietly influence leaders, education, and culture. Its members pledged to reject superstition and tyranny, to work toward liberty and equality, and to remain absolutely secret about their involvement. Their motto was simple yet radical for the time: to bring about moral and social improvement through reason and enlightenment. To spread their ideas more effectively, the Illuminati began recruiting from within existing Masonic lodges. This overlap made the two groups nearly inseparable in the public eye. Some lodges welcomed Illuminati members, while others resisted. But the connection between Masonry and Illuminati was strong enough that conspiracy theorists later treated them as one and the same. Within a few years, the Illuminati had grown to around 2,000 members across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Their ranks included intellectuals, nobles, and government officials. They used code names, secret ciphers, and elaborate initiation rituals. Members believed they were part of something greater, a hidden network that could reshape society. But such rapid growth did not go unnoticed. Authorities in Bavaria began to see the Illuminati not as a harmless club of philosophers, but as a dangerous revolutionary force. By 1784, the Bavarian government issued edicts banning secret societies. The Illuminati were targeted directly. Police raided homes, confiscated papers, and exposed the group's membership. Adam Weishaupt fled into exile, and by 1787, the Illuminati were officially dismantled. But something strange happened. Instead of fading into history like other small societies, the Illuminati's legend only grew. Their ideas were feared, their secrecy misunderstood, and their name forever tied to revolution. Just as the Illuminati were being suppressed in Bavaria, Europe was shaking with change. In 1789, the French Revolution erupted. Monarchs were overthrown, aristocrats executed, and cries for liberty and equality filled the streets. Conservative writers in Europe quickly blamed the Illuminati. They argued that Weishaupt's order had secretly orchestrated the revolution, planting its ideals in the hearts of revolutionaries. Even though there is no direct evidence, the accusation stuck. The Illuminati became the invisible hand behind uprisings, a convenient scapegoat for chaos. In America, similar fears arose. The young republic was fragile, and whispers of secret societies influencing politics created unease. Some clergymen even warned that the Illuminati had infiltrated American institutions, spreading godless philosophy and undermining Christianity. These fears birthed an idea that would echo across centuries, that the Illuminati had not truly died, but had simply gone underground. From the shadows, they were said to manipulate governments, finance revolutions, and push humanity toward a single world government, the so-called New World Order. The evidence was thin, but the suspicion was powerful. Because the Illuminati were secret, no one could prove what they were doing. And because no one could prove it, believers could claim they were everywhere. The Illuminati had become less a real group and more a symbol of hidden power, of unseen control, of the fear that freedom itself was being manipulated from the shadows. Since the Illuminati recruited heavily from Masonic lodges, conspiracy theorists saw no distinction between the two. Freemasons, with their rituals and symbols, became the perfect cover for the Illuminati's supposed survival. Were lodges in Paris and Philadelphia simply clubs of fraternity, or were they fronts for a global revolution directed by unseen masters? The blending of Freemason tradition with Illuminati legend created a conspiracy so powerful it still thrives today. To some, the two names are interchangeable. To others, Freemasonry is the public face, while the Illuminati remain the hidden hand. The 19th and 20th century rise of conspiracy theories, connecting Illuminati to bankers, wars, and world politics. How these ideas entered American culture and shaped modern conspiracy theories. The 18th and 19th centuries were a turning point. Revolutions erupted across Europe and the Americas. Monarchs fell, republics rose. Many people at the time whispered that the Freemasons and Illuminati were pulling the strings. The American Revolution in 1776 became the first major event tied to these secret societies. Several founding fathers, like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, were known Freemasons. Their membership gave rise to rumors that the United States itself was a Masonic project, built on hidden rituals and coded symbols. The design of the U.S. dollar bill, with its pyramid and all-seeing eye, later became a favorite proof of this theory. In France, the Revolution of 1789 brought even stronger claims. Pamphlets spread across Europe, accusing the Illuminati of plotting the downfall of the monarchy. Historians now argue that the chaos of poverty, hunger, and political corruption was enough to explain the French Revolution. But to conspiracy thinkers, the Illuminati represented a convenient hidden hand, guiding mobs, destroying kings, and building a new order. During the 19th century, monarchies across Europe became increasingly paranoid. They passed strict laws against secret societies. Freemasons were accused of running revolutionary movements in Italy and Germany. Illuminati conspiracies resurfaced in anti-revolutionary propaganda. Even the Catholic Church publicly denounced Freemasons, claiming they were working against religion and promoting secularism. By the early 20th century, both groups had become deeply woven into popular imagination. The Freemasons, with their real lodges and temples, became a mystery hiding in plain sight. The Illuminati, supposedly extinct for over a century, lived on in conspiracy literature. Books and pamphlets claimed the Illuminati had survived underground. They were said to infiltrate governments, banks, and even secret police networks. These rumors grew stronger after the World Wars, when the chaos of global conflict made people desperate for explanations. Why had the world become so violent? Who benefited from it? To some, the answer was simple: a shadow group pulling strings. This period created one of the most enduring myths, that the Illuminati never died. Instead, they evolved into a global cabal, hiding in plain sight, guiding wars, revolutions, and financial markets. But here lies the central problem. Real evidence for a modern Illuminati is weak. No credible historians or documents prove that the group survived past the 18th century. Yet the myth has become stronger than fact. Every global crisis, from economic crashes to wars, gets tied back to the hidden order. Freemasons, meanwhile, continued to exist openly. By the 20th century, they had millions of members worldwide. Lodges became charity organizations, supporting hospitals, education, and relief programs. Still, their secrecy kept suspicion alive. Why hide rituals if you have nothing to fear? Why use strange symbols if there is no hidden agenda? The combination of real secrecy and imagined power kept both Freemasons and Illuminati alive in the public mind. And as media expanded, their legends grew faster than ever before. As the 20th century began, the world entered a new phase. Industrial revolutions, world wars, and the rise of mass media changed how people thought about power. With these shifts came a revival of secret society myths. Both Freemasons and the Illuminati were accused of being behind global events, whether true or not. By the early 1900s, Freemasonry had millions of members worldwide. Lodges grew in Europe, North America, and Asia. In the United States alone, Freemasons included senators, judges, businessmen, and even presidents. This visibility kept suspicion alive. People asked, how could a group with so much influence remain neutral? During World War I and World War II, Freemasons faced mixed fates. In Nazi Germany, Hitler banned Freemasonry, claiming it was part of a Jewish-led conspiracy. Thousands of Masons were imprisoned or killed. In other nations, especially the United States and Britain, Freemasons openly supported war efforts, raising funds and providing aid. This dual role, persecuted in one country, powerful in another, only added to the mystery. Though historically dissolved in the late 18th century, the Illuminati never died in conspiracy theories. Writers in the 1900s claimed the group had survived underground. They were said to control banking families like the Rothschilds, political dynasties like the Rockefellers, and even international organizations like the United Nations. The world wars fueled these beliefs. When borders collapsed and economies fell apart, people searched for explanations. Instead of accepting chaos, many preferred to believe in hidden orchestration. The idea of a new world order, a global system ruled by secret elites, spread during this time. The Cold War further magnified these fears. With nuclear weapons threatening humanity, people wondered, who really controls governments? Some claimed Freemasons held sway in Western powers, while Illuminati forces pulled strings behind communism. Both sides accused the other of being manipulated by unseen forces. Books, radio shows, and later television gave new life to these stories. Every assassination, coup, or war was tied to shadow groups. When John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, conspiracy theories exploded. Some whispered that secret societies wanted to silence a president who resisted their agenda. By the late 20th century, the Illuminati and Freemasons had moved beyond political rumors. They became symbols in pop culture. Movies, novels, and music videos used their imagery pyramids, all-seeing eyes, hand signs to attract attention. Dan Brown's bestseller Angels and Demons, and later the Da Vinci Code, pushed these myths into the mainstream. Millions began to associate Freemasons with ancient secrets and Illuminati with global domination. Hollywood reinforced this with films where secret groups controlled history. In the music industry, stars like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Kanye West were accused of using Illuminati symbols in performances. The triangle hand sign, one eye covered in photos, and references to light and darkness became hot topics online. Whether intentional marketing or coincidence, these symbols fueled modern belief that the Illuminati were not only real, but thriving in entertainment. By the 21st century, the internet supercharged these theories. YouTube videos, forums, and blogs spread the idea that secret societies controlled everything: politics, Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and global finance. A rumor in one corner of the internet could go viral worldwide within hours. This modern phase transformed the Freemasons and Illuminati from historical societies into cultural legends. People no longer asked only whether they existed. They asked how deeply they controlled the world around them. Hafsa, should I continue with part 6, where I'll cover the deep dive into Illuminati symbols, rituals, and alleged influence on modern governments and corporations? One of the reasons the Freemasons and the Illuminati remain so fascinating is their use of symbols. Symbols are powerful because they hide meaning in plain sight. The square and compass, the most recognized Masonic symbol. The square represents morality, and the compass represents limits and discipline. Conspiracy theorists argue that it also represents hidden geometry tied to sacred knowledge. The all-seeing eye, often shown within a triangle, it represents the eye of God watching over humanity. Today, it is most famous on the back of the U.S. $1 bill, which fuels claims that the Illuminati embedded it as a sign of their control. The pyramid, a structure that points upward, symbolizing hierarchy and power. In conspiracy theories, it represents how elites at the top control the masses at the bottom. The number 33, considered one of the highest Masonic degrees. Theories claim that leaders who reference 33 are signaling secret ties to Masonry. These symbols are seen in architecture, art, corporate logos, and entertainment. For believers, they are proof of ongoing influence. For skeptics, they are coincidence or simply recycled imagery. Freemasons are known for their elaborate initiation ceremonies. Members progress through degrees, each requiring oaths and symbolic acts. Rituals involve blindfolds, secret handshakes, and recitations that outsiders find strange. Critics see them as evidence of occult practices. The Illuminati, though historically less documented, are said to have adopted similar practices. Conspiracy stories describe blood oaths, coded phrases, and symbolic sacrifices. Whether true or exaggerated, these ideas keep the image of the Illuminati dark and threatening. For centuries, critics have accused secret societies of controlling governance. Examples often cited include U.S. presidents, several American presidents, such as George Washington and Franklin D. Roosevelt, were confirmed Freemasons. This fuels claims that Masonic ideas shaped American democracy and even its currency. European leaders. Many European monarchs and politicians were linked to Freemasonry, including Winston Churchill. Some conspiracy theorists argue that major treaties and wars were influenced in private lodges rather than public debates. Global institutions. The United Nations, World Bank, and International Monetary Fund are often accused of being controlled by secret society members working toward a new world order. 4. Those who distrust governments. This possibility feels more believable than chance. The most persistent modern theory is that Freemasons and the Illuminati influence corporations and banks. Accusations often focus on the Federal Reserve. Conspiracists argue that America's central bank is run by hidden elites who manipulate economies for control. Big Tech. Companies like Google, Apple, and Facebook are accused of spreading symbols and pushing agendas tied to Illuminati goals. Media giants. Disney, Warner Brothers, and other studios are said to embed occult messages in films. Some point to subliminal programming meant to normalize control. Though evidence is debated, the sheer scale of modern corporations makes it easy to believe they are part of something larger than just business. Symbols and rituals succeed because they are flexible. To believers, every logo, gesture, or phrase can be reinterpreted as a sign. This creates an endless cycle. The more people deny the connection, the more others believe it is being hidden. The mix of mystery, history, and power keeps the Freemasons and Illuminati at the center of cultural debate. For conspiracy theorists, no mystery is complete without pointing to powerful figures. The Freemasons and Illuminati are often accused of recruiting world leaders, musicians, and CEOs. Presidents and politicians. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Franklin D. Roosevelt were all Freemasons. Skeptics argue this was common in their era, but conspiracy believers insist their leadership choices reflected Masonic goals. John F. Kennedy is also linked to anti-secret society speeches, which some claim led to his assassination. Musicians. From Jay-Z flashing the ROC diamond hand sign to Beyoncé performing with pyramid imagery, pop culture is filled with alleged Illuminati symbols. Madonna, Lady Gaga, and Kanye West have all been accused of promoting hidden agendas through music videos and stage shows. Business leaders. Rumors suggest that CEOs of global corporations like Apple, Google, and Amazon are tied to modern secret societies. Hollywood stars. Actors like Tom Hanks, Angelina Jolie, and Keanu Reeves are sometimes accused of being part of the network. Their use of specific imagery or their global reach fuels the claims. Whether these claims are fact or fiction, they show how deeply secret society stories have penetrated popular culture. The digital era has given new life to these conspiracies. On TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, short clips link celebrities with symbols like triangles, one-eye imagery, and checkerboard floors. Memes and music videos. Every time a star covers one eye, it becomes Illuminati confirmed. Fan theories. Entire online communities analyze Super Bowl halftime shows, award ceremonies, and film trailers for signs of hidden control. Satire versus belief. What started as satire has convinced millions. Even jokes about the Illuminati reinforce the myth because repetition makes the story feel real. Social media turned what was once an underground conspiracy into a mainstream cultural phenomenon. At its core, the fascination with Freemasons and Illuminati is about power and secrecy. People naturally distrust those in control. The idea of hidden rulers pulling strings behind the scenes explains why the world feels chaotic. When economies collapse, it is easier to believe elites planned it. When celebrities rise overnight, it is easier to believe they sold their soul. When governments act in unison, it is easier to believe they are part of one grand order. The belief system thrives because it simplifies complex events into a single dramatic explanation. So, do the Freemasons and Illuminati truly run the world? Or are they simply convenient scapegoats for the fears of ordinary people? The records of Freemasonry show a long history of fraternal bonding, charity, and symbolism. The Illuminati, in historical fact, existed only briefly in 18th century Bavaria before being banned. Yet in stories, they have never died. The truth may be less exciting than the legend, but the legend itself has power. It shapes music, film, politics, and online culture. In that sense, whether real or not, the Illuminati and Freemasons do control something very important: our imagination. The Freemasons and Illuminati may forever remain a mystery. But one thing is certain: they have become cultural giants, feeding our hunger for secrets and hidden truths. Do you believe these groups are ancient puppet masters, pulling the strings of presidents and celebrities? If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden history, subscribe to HEH for more documentaries that uncover the mysteries behind our world. Because remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction.